Hi, I'm Dyanne Klinko from Backstage Past Presents, and I have a fabulous group here to talk to with you today. I have John Haddad, I have Roby Deaton, and I have Craig Lemay, and they are from the Deaton Lemay Project. If I got that
right.
names, did I do that right?
Yes, you did.
It's Haddad, not Haddad.
Haddad.
I like that. That might be my stage name from now on.
I still want to go another direction. I don't know why. How are you guys today?
Good. Thank you for having us, Dyanne.
Oh, thank you so much for spending some time with us. I know there are people there on the Titan site that are definitely going to want to check this out, because I'll tell you, you guys have got a bunch of talent right there between the three of you. I am so proud and honored to have you guys here.
Thank you so much. Thank you
so much. And to do this, what I'd like to do is I'd like to get into talking about your latest video that I posted on the Titan site called DLP Performs ELP. Plus, I also understand you have a couple of CDs that we could talk about. I thought I'd let you take over and talk about your video and your CDs.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we just decided that we wanted to do tribute to Emerson Lake Palmer because all of us were affected by their talent back in the day. And we worked hard. We decided what we would like to do, and I know me and Craig for sure learned these songs, a lot of them back when we were teenagers still, when they first came out. I remember hearing their music for the first time and going, this is what I want to do, because it was a keyboard oriented band. Most other rock bands, they had keyboard more as a flavor or a little bit of a spice, but this one here, it was in your face keyboards.
Wasn't it though? You know, that was a real surprise too, to see keyboards taking the front like a lead guitar. It was really surprising, yet so fitting.
It really was. And I was drawn to that, as I'm sure millions were, aspiring keyboardists. Yeah. And I just knew that this is what I wanted. This is the type of music I wanted to play. So as an early teenager, I started listening and just trying to figure things out, going, I will never be able to play this. Some of the stuff just seemed so complex at the time. And I just, like with Tarkus, I played that bass line every day for a couple hours for weeks and weeks. And I would do it on my keyboard. I would do that. I'd watch television, write my name, throw a ball up and down, drink water. And after about 6 weeks, it was like my brain went, he's not going to stop. Let's let him do it. And that's when I realized if I stay with something long enough that I can eventually get it.
Now, it sounds like you self-taught.
Yeah, back then you couldn't find sheet music. So the way you would learn pretty much would be buy the record, find a turntable, and just listen to it. Back and forth. Drop the needle on there to a certain point. Write down what you think it was, and then just try to work your way through it.
Yeah. You know, that must have been so challenging because you don't have a teacher explaining the different ways to put your fingers across those keyboards or get that sound you're looking for. And I would imagine all three of you must have been really challenged. It's just something that I can't even comprehend doing, is teaching myself to learn ELP.
Me and Craig are the same age. So at the age that I was learning Keith's part, he was working on the Carl Palmer parts.
Oh man, you were doing the whole drumming.
Well, that to me was just the next phase of what I was actually working on. Years before that, I was working with the Buddy Rich stuff, though, which was one of his biggest influences. Carl had always talked about how Buddy was an inspiration to him. So it was quite a thing to already have studied the Buddy Rich stuff at such a young age. And then all of a sudden, this guy shows up and he takes it to the next level, though. But there's one point I want to make, though, is that this is actually the 50th anniversary of the actual, we did the medley from these songs, mainly from that era. Obviously, Tarkus is before that, so that's even older than 50 years. So the main point is this is a great time to actually pay homage to them And yeah, the whole thing is just, it's just what a great moment in our life to get this out. And actually, we thought it turned out well.
You know, I kind of thought it turned out brilliant.
They liked it.
Frankly,
Thank you.
I tell you, the lighting, the direction of the cameras, just everything against how you guys were playing your onstage performance is just is top shelf to me.
Thank you.
It
We
was
got it.
just awesome.
We got to thank Craig, and he spent months learning the lighting software to be able to program all that. I mean, it was
Man, what
was
a great job.
Yeah, it was inspired to learn about lighting recently, and then this was my first approach to it, so it actually turned out pretty good. I thought I'm very proud to see that everything came out sequenced well with the lighting, and we played along with the lighting, and it worked out.
It did. That the sequence of the lighting with the music was just it was just on point. It was just on
Thank
point.
you.
Thank
I
you.
can't say anything else. It was on point.
Awesome.
John, why don't you tell us a little bit about your experience with ELP music, with your bass playing and your vocals?
Well, I also kind of grew up listening to all that style of music, ELP, Yes, Rush, and dropping the needle on the albums. And I just remember as a, you know, early high school, just putting on the headphones, plugged into the Harman Kardon amp, and listening to those songs and just rocking out. And you know, my parents looking at me thinking, what the hell is going on? But really, that the music that you listen to at that age is the music that stays with you forever. I'm totally convinced about that. It's something about going through puberty and listening to that music just hardwires your neurons to go in that direction. I started playing bass around the same time in my early teens, and that bass that I played in that video is a 1978 Rickenbacker that my father bought for me new when I was 17 years old, and I enjoyed featuring that in this video as well.
That's quite a piece of bass there, the Rickenbacker.
It is. It is.
It really is. Chris Squire played with that too.
Yeah, he's the main reason why I got that bass, definitely.
There you go.
I was very fortunate to have met Chris Squire. I have another Rickenbacker bass that's a Chris Squire signature model that I actually had him autograph. It was a very nice experience.
Wow, that must have been fabulous. I met the group a couple of different times, and Chris has he can have a great sense of humor.
Oh yeah,
It's very enjoyable to hang out with.
Totally godlike to me. I met him at the Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp when Yes was featured there. I actually played a song with him. I taught him how to play Pinball Wizard by The Who. He never played that before, so I taught him how to do it. That was nuts. That was crazy.
Wow, what a memory, right?
There's video of that on YouTube if you want to check that out.
Oh, I've got to check that out. Where can I find that?
Just look up let's see, Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp, Chris Squire, Pinball Wizard, and you'll find it.
I gotta check that out. I gotta check that out. That's gotta be something to see.
And then I also met him on the Cruise to the Edge. Have you been on Cruise to the Edge?
I haven't. I wanted to go in 2019 and I couldn't. Then COVID broke out, and then some friends of mine who went came home with COVID and said that everybody was getting sick on that ship.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, maybe I probably ought to stay off of it for a little while.
Yeah, well, I met him and Carl Palmer both on the original Cruise to the Edge in 2013 or 2014.
Yeah, that's
a wonderful experience.
Yeah, that must have been just, again, incredible memories. Just
these are our heroes. I mean, these are our guys. You know?
These are the guys that you look up to when you're young, and then you end up striving to do what you can to be like them.
Yeah, it only took 50 years, but we're here.
But you're there. You are there. You are definitely there. So something else that I wanted to bring up was Robbie, I understand that you are an endorsed artist for a company called synthesizer.com. Can you
Yeah.
tell us about this, what this company and what it means to be endorsed?
Yes, when I was 13, 14 years old and saw Keith's modular for the first time, in my mind, my little teenage mind, I was like, I want to have one of those one day. I just so want one. Of course, then I saw what the price was for the mold, which is, it was prohibitive on my my paper route employment. So I didn't get one, but I've always wanted one for years and years and years. And I had talked to this company about 14 years ago just to find out about them, and they stay true to the original design of the modular with the modules that they use. And I bought one unit of it, and I sent them some recordings that we were doing at the time for the second CD. And then they loved it, and they asked me if I would like to be an endorsed artist with them. They were impressed with what we were doing. And so it felt good that they reached out to me for that. So so then of course I had to get more and more stuff, which I'm done for the time being. I'm not saying I'm done, but I'm done for the time being.
Yeah, I've seen a picture of your modular,
And
and
it shows up.
looks pretty tall.
It shows up. It shows the surprise I have for you. As I brought it home, so we'll talk about the sounds that I use on the video later. That was your surprise that I was telling you about. So
Thank you.
yeah. So let's see what we get us back into singer. So yeah, I use it extensively on the video. You see it in the background, and I used it on Carnival 9. And back when I first got my first mini Moog, I was trying to find, I loved the way Keith was playing in California Jam, and he would play the synth part and hold one note and you hear a little brink, brink, brink.
Yes.
And I reached out to a lot of people to see if I could do that with my mini, and they had some suggestions, but nothing seemed to work. So when I got this, that's the first thing I did. I sat down, started listening to the live version, and I wanted to recreate that sound as close as I could. So it was exciting when I finally got that. That was a dream come true to get.
That is a very unique sound too. I mean,
It really is.
Presses down, you know exactly what's going on. That's
exactly. But one of the interesting things, I'll just show you real quick with it. Let's see again. Can you hear that okay?
Oh yeah.
Okay. The way it works is that if you hit one note, you hear one note. If you hit two notes, there's an arpeggiator. If you hit three notes, you get, and if you hit four, so it arpeggiates whatever it is you're doing. So on the beginning of that, on the kind of the chorus part, so I'm actually holding arpeggio, which is kind of the same thing as him doing the one finger.
Yeah.
But I'm having to adjust it a little bit to get that sound. So that's how I did that for the video.
Excellent. Wow.
Thank you.
Very creative and thinking outside the box.
Yeah, I was so excited. I mean, I spent days and days, tweaking a little bit and then listening back and coming back, and finally got something that was as close as I could get with what I had.
Oh, I think that's awesome. You guys are really something special. You really are, to be able to learn these things on your own and put them together as a band, which again, I'd like to go dive in a little bit on the history of your band. I know that you have opened for, what was it, Dream Theater?
Mm-hmm. Me and Craig played with a band called Cinema back from 91, early 90s. And when they did a show here in Houston, we opened for them on the Houston show, which was exciting. That was an exciting night. The Images and Words tour.
Oh man, that's just awesome. Now, how did you guys all come together? How did you guys all meet up and form this band?
Well, I mean, I met John just recently, so there was a situation where I was at a concert.
Yeah, what concert was it?
Was it King's X?
Maybe it was it was at Warehouse Live. We have a mutual friend, and
Yeah,
we had met before, but then we bumped into each other at this concert, and Craig tells me, hey, you know, we recorded a CD. Why don't you give it a listen? And I think I was listening to it on Apple Music, and I'm going like, man, I really like this. This is like, you know, this is my jam. You know, this is, you know, early 70s influence prog rock. But I did notice that there was no bass on it on the first CD. It was all keyboard bass, which you know, I kind of figured maybe we need to fix that. And then my other band had a performance at the same venue, I think a couple of weeks after that. And Craig came out to listen, and I see Craig on the side of the stage the whole night looking at me, and I was a Tool tribute band, so I'm playing all this complex stuff. And he's looking at me, and he's kind of shaking. I didn't realize at the time that I was being auditioned. Otherwise, I would have freaked out a little bit. But after that, he invited me to team up with him and Robbie and start working on the second CD. And it's been a wonderful experience. These guys are professional musicians, teachers, well respected in our community. I'm not a professional musician. I'm a physician. I'm a radiologist. I just worked all day in the hospital and took a nap, and then I came here for this interview. But you know, I've been playing bass, you know, for longer than I've been a doctor. But to play with these guys on this level is such a thrill. It's really an unbelievable experience for me.
Well, I'll tell you, John, you sure sound like a professional to me, and you look like a professional to me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
There's any difference between you and Craig and Robbie? I really don't.
Thank you very much. That's very nice.
No, I really mean that. I really mean that.
Thank
I think
you.
you guys should be together always. I think you guys work well together.
Oh yeah, I feel it.
It appears that everything works, you know, between the three of you. So
We are the core of DLP, the three of us. In fact, I told him earlier this week, I said our initials now stand for Deaton, Lemay, and physician.
I love it. I love it. Can I call you that from now on?
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
DLP, I just love that. It's great. So now let's see, there's a couple other things I have in here. You are going to be going to Prague on the Ranch.
Yeah, me and John. I'll let you.
You and John, yeah.
Okay, you haven't been on Cruise to the Edge. But basically, Cruise to the Edge started, I guess, was 2013 or 2014.
Mm.
And it started out small. They originally were only able to book half the boat. And so it was half people that were there for concerts and half people that were just there with their families on vacation that didn't know about these crazy prog heads that were on the boat. So
that's
on the first Cruise to the Edge, after all the concerts were finished, late at night, there was a piano in a bar, and several of the keyboard players that were passengers on the ship, not the paid performers, would hang out at the piano and start playing these prog songs, and people would sing along like karaoke with the piano players. And then after that, someone got the idea that let's bring some other musicians into this, and let's jam. So on the second Cruise to the Edge, we actually set up performances after hours with people that brought their instruments on the boat, passengers that brought their instruments on the boat like me. And we set up a concert series after hours that we played these incredible epic prog tunes. And you get on the stage and you play a song with somebody you've never seen before. You know, an 8-minute Yes epic, something like that. You're playing that with somebody you've never even met.
There's no disgrace.
Yeah. So this was happening for every subsequent Cruise to the Edge. And one of the passengers, Bill Goldman, and his wife, Devora, they live in Florida and they have a ranch, and they're both tremendous musicians themselves. And Bill and Deborah just decided, hey, let's build a couple of stages on our ranch and invite all our friends over, and we'll have concert parties.
Prog on the ranch.
So that became Prague on the Ranch. People show up there, same group of people that met on the boat and kind of metastasized further than that, bringing people in to come and party for a weekend and play again songs with people that you've never seen before, never rehearsed with, get on stage and do it. And it's just an incredible exercise, an incredible bonding experience for people that play this type of music. And you really learn. I've learned so much. You really don't know this music until you can play it all by yourself with no one else, with no cues, and you get on the stage with that pressure and you pull it off, and it's just such a satisfying experience. It's really incredible.
I can imagine that would be. I mean, that's got to make me have butterflies in my stomach,
Yeah.
what's going on. But I can imagine that when you're done, it's got to be just a sensation that you can't really describe.
And the friendships that have been made from the cruise and the Prague on the Ranch it's really life-changing. I mean, people have convened from all over the country and Europe and in Australia and other parts of the world, come together and have all become friends. And it's kind of like a big fraternity, sorority, club, whatever you want to call it.
I always imagined I always imagined it would just be one big party where everybody's just mingling together, and it almost reminds me of something that would happen back in the 70s when you would go to a concert. You go the day before because you got to get that good seat, and there's a big old line, and everybody's just loving everybody. Everybody's chatting, everybody's talking about the bands that they're going to see, or the bands they've seen and that, correspond with the band you're going to see, and just make all kinds of new friends, just standing in line, It just reminds me that it would be something like that.
Exactly. That's really kind of the vibe that it conjures. Absolutely.
That's nice. That's really nice. So now your 2 CDs, what are their names and where can they get these?
Okay, the debut CD is called Day After Yesterday, and it's on our website. It's available online. If they just type our name in, they'll find it everywhere pretty much.
Okay.
And that came out at the end of 2019, and then the newest one just came out beginning of this year, and we're excited that it got picked up with a German prog label about a month and a half ago, and it's really getting some traction. The great reviews have come in for it, and we're getting a lot of questions about it. So
wonderful.
yes, the name of the label is Progressive Promotion Records, PPR.
Well, I like that.
Yeah, and so they've got several American artists. Jimmy Keegan, the drummer that played with Robert.
I'm very familiar with Jimmy.
Yeah, so there's several people that I knew that was on that. I was excited when the owner Oliver was telling me that.
Wow, Jimmy did something about animals.
Pattern-seeking animals.
Pattern-seeking animals. Yeah.
They've been on the cruise too.
Yeah, and they're good too. They're real good too. I've heard their one album in particular that I really liked a lot.
And the name of the second CD is The Fifth Element, and that's the one is based on the elements of life: water, fire, earth, and air, with the fifth element being music.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
very nice.
That's the concept of that one. Yes,
I like that concept. Music is a part of those natural.
It is.
Those natural things, it is. You never think about it like that, but it's the universal language.
And that's the fifth element.
That is the fifth element.
Yeah, I think so too. That's fabulous. And you can get this, they can get this by going to your website, which is DeatonLemayProject.com. Okay. And they can find that there. What about the DVD that you released, the video?
We haven't done the DVD yet. We're kicking around ideas for that one. That's in the future pot of things to do.
Ooh, nice. Now, what about the video that I had posted on Titan's page? Is that available for people to buy?
But they can watch. They can actually watch that. We're sharing that with the
Oh,
world.
that's right. That's on YouTube, right?
Yes, just like the band allows fans and people who want to honor them and love them to put on YouTube. We want to do the same. We just have it out there to pay tribute to a life-changing band that for so many people.
I mean, when you think about it, ELP came out and they challenged the world with a new way of listening to music.
Mm-hmm.
And to this day, 50 years plus later, it's still just, their music is still just as popular and demanding as ever. And not too many bands can say that.
Yeah, I learned Carnival 9 first impression, and that is every bit as difficult as any classical Bach invention that I learned back in the day. I struggle like that with I mean, he's a great composer. Just the classical aspect of it is just mind-boggling to me.
Yeah, I would think so. And Robbie, you had a background of classical music when you
Yes,
were growing up, and then you heard ELP, and then what happened?
that's when I said, this is what I want to do. I want to play this kind of music. I want to write this kind of music, and their music has changed the way I write. It's just it's so much, there.
Yeah, but you learned it in the wrong key.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's
Yeah,
right.
I had to tune the bass differently. I'm
The
like,
turntable.
No, right.
Yeah.
There is a turntable story, and it has to do with you sent Rachel Flowers the DVD, was it?
The video, just the
Video.
video.
I keep saying DVD. I meant video.
Yeah.
And she had a response, and I would love to hear this response come from you.
The way it happened back when I was a teenager, I took Welcome Back My Friends to my grandmother's house, who had a turntable, and I put it on there, and an album is 33 1/3, but she had this nice one that had a 17 on it. So it would go super slow.
That's half speed.
Essentially half speed. So I learned it using that and 33 1/3, but it's not exactly half. So I learned it a half step off, and I've played it that way almost 50 years. And even with the sheet music that you can get now to read, my fingers still go back to the original that I learned back in the day. So
Sure.
when I sent it to Jeannie and Rachel, I wanted to share that with them. I said, Jeannie, please let Rachel know that my grandmother's turntable was off back in the day. And she replied back, she said, Rachel laughed, because she knows that, she can hear that. And she said most turntables don't play at the correct speed.
Isn't that something?
But I knew with her perfect pitch and perfect musicianship, she would have picked up. So I had to mention that up front when I sent it.
Yeah, really. Just so you know.
But it worked out nice, because the segue going from Tarkus into Carnival 9 ended up in a comfortable place for us.
Wonderful. That's great. That's great. And again, it's those little things that, like having an off turntable.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that you go, this is something I appreciate for what it's worth. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So now let's talk just a little bit before we close about shows maybe you have done that you'd like to talk about, shows that maybe you have coming up, or shows that you are right now looking at. I would love to know what your schedule is a little bit.
We're in deep rehearsals. We're 3 of the 5 people that are in DLP. We have a singer, the singer on the CD. His name is Hadi Kiani, and I've got to give him a shout out because he helped me so much. I'm not a singer by nature, but he gave me great exercises and techniques to use to try to become Greg-like. I try to get as close as I could, but I'm not him. But let
me tell you something. What I noticed in the video, we mentioned the California Jam earlier. The California Jam performance, Greg Lake was chewing gum the whole time. and saying, and he's chewing gum now, and he's chewing gum in the video.
I did that on purpose. I did that on purpose because
I thought that was so
I
cool.
wondered if you did. I wondered if you did because I thought this looks really familiar, but I'm not going to say anything.
it was definitely hats off to them for being able to sing and play and chew gum.
I
That's
can't
awesome.
walk and
Hey,
chew
you
gum at
can
the
do
same
more
time.
than
He's
that.
singing and playing keyboards and chewing gum at the same time.
I don't know how you can do that, by the way, either, because
That
you've
took-
got your feet going, you got your hands going, and then you've got these music, the lyrics that you have to sing.
That took about 2.5 months. I worked every day for a couple hours for 2.5 months playing Carnival 9 and trying to sing the lines. It took me a while. It didn't come easy, but again,
Those lyrics are sung so fast, and
yes,
there's so many words in those lyrics. It's hard enough to learn how to sing them by itself. It took me a while when I was a kid. BSS was the very first album I ever bought with my babysitting money. And I had put that on my turntable, and right away I wanted to learn, Carnival 9. And it took me, I'm doing housework, I'm doing whatever I had to do, and I got that going and over reading the lyrics, and it is just like maddening. They just go so fast, and you're doing it all.
oh, thank you. It took a lot of work to get that, but I've got to bring up my favorite part of this, the video at the 9 minute and 27 mark. Craig is playing, loses the stick, grabs it midair, and hits the cymbal on cue. Most people will miss that.
Oh, when is that?
At the 9 minute and 27. That is my favorite part of the whole video.
9.27 in. Okay, so 9 minutes.
It was a blunder.
27 minutes in of the video.
It was a
Look
mess
for
up.
Craig
Yeah.
losing the stick, catching it, and bam!
That's my favorite part of the whole.
I'll tell you what, that would be mine too. That would be awesome. I may have seen it going, oh, very cool move. I'm just thinking
That's what it looks like.
part of it,
That's what it looks like.
So what do you have coming up here for shows?
You're hitting Florida, right?
Well, me and John will be playing the Prog on the Ranch. We both get to play Carnival 9 first impression with Paul, Carl's guitar player.
Bellatovich, yeah.
Yes.
No pressure, no pressure.
No pressure at all, huh?
I'm excited. I'm learning the parts of that before we would play up to a certain point and then we would go into the back half. I'm having to learn the part that me and Craig never played together. So it's kind of a challenge, but it's fun. It's fun.
And we're also going to play one of the songs from the new album.
Yeah, the new album, the opening track is called The Great Awakening.
Off the new album.
Off the new album. And it made the grid. It made the grid over there. We have some fans that put it up and it got accepted, and we're going to play that song. That'd be me and John with some other people we've never played with. It'd be fun to see how it turns out, but it's
that'd be great. And I'm assuming that this will be recorded, so
yes,
all can see.
Yeah.
yes,
Oh,
it'd be
good.
recorded.
Good. Because I want to definitely see that for sure. Is there anything else that you guys want to talk about that we haven't covered?
I think you're doing great today, girl.
Actually, I think I got to talk about how we came up with DLP.
Oh, yes.
Me and Craig ski every year, and we drink dark beer. And every year we say we need to get this music recorded for 5 or 6 years over dark beer and a whole lot of that. And then one day I said, why don't we just call ourselves Deaton Lemay Project? That way we can be DLP, kind of like Keith and his crew. Keith and Greg and Carl were ELP. So over a drunken dark beer situation, that's how we kind of came up with that name.
So in other words, little happy.
Yeah. Yes.
Made it work.
It did work. Yes.
It does work very nicely. I love it. I'm so glad the three of you guys are working together towards, the keeping ELP's music alive and in our hearts, and being able to watch a performance means a lot to all of us. It really means a lot because we can't see ELP today. And, but when you play as good as you guys do, and you can close your eyes and you can actually feel ELP,
Thank
that's
you.
pretty special.
Wow.
That's really special.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dyanne.
Tell you truly. And I really want to thank you so much for being here with me today. And I know that it means a lot to a lot of members that'll want to check you guys out, some people for the first time, and get to know who you are. And hopefully we'll be able to meet again down the road, maybe after Prague on the ranch, and be able to talk again.
We appreciate it so much. I got to tell both these guys thank you, because this has been a dream come true for me to perform these songs in this aspect. And I mean, almost 50 years. And thank you guys. This was a dream come true for me. It really was.
All good.
Outstanding. Well, I am humbly grateful for your time here today. Thank
Thank
you
you,
again
Dyanne.
so
Have a great
much.
weekend. Thank
And
you.
you
Thank
have
you.
a great weekend and take care.